Hello everyone, welcome back. This time, we're going to talk about the valve system commonly used in world-class racing competitions such as MotoGP and Formula 1. This incredible piece of engineering is one of the key components behind high-powered engines that can operate at extremely high RPM. Here it is, the pneumatic valve spring. As we can see, a pneumatic spring is a technology that replaces conventional valve springs that still rely on metal coils. Its purpose is to eliminate the various issues that arise with traditional springs and to improve efficiency. For example, springs that are too stiff can increase engine load at low RPM. Meanwhile, if we use softer springs, the valves can experience float at high RPM. So this brings us to a common question. What exactly is valve floating? Valve float is a condition where the valve spring is no longer strong enough to close the valve quickly, causing it to fail to follow the cam profile. As a result, the valve stays open longer than it should. This significantly reduces engine performance at high RPM. Some of the air-fuel mixture will leak into the exhaust path if the exhaust valve is floating, and some will flow back into the intake path during the compression stroke if the intake valve is floating. A simple example of this effect is the cause of backfire or afterfire. Although, of course, those phenomena can also be influenced by many other factors. Even though it looks cool, since afterfire is often seen as a sign of a powerful engine, from a technical standpoint, it's actually a symptom of a system failure. A large amount of fresh air-fuel mixture that should have burned inside the combustion chamber to produce power ends up burning outside, creating nothing but sparks. Even worse, if valve float becomes severe, the valve can actually hit the piston. This can damage internal engine components and lead to complete engine failure. This is why the valve train is always one of the main factors that limits an engine's maximum RPM. Pneumatic valve technology was specifically developed for competition use. It is engineered to eliminate the weaknesses of traditional metal springs, allowing much higher peak RPM, but with far greater complexity as well. Now, for a bit of history, this technology was first developed by Renault and introduced to the public in 1986 in the prestigious Formula 1 championship through their Renault EF-type engine. After 3 years of development, Renault finally managed to win the competition, proving just how effective and superior the pneumatic valve system is in the world of high-speed racing. Well, seeing the achievements Renault earned, it's no surprise that this technology quickly became an attractive option for other manufacturers. Aprilia was among the first to take the leap by using this system in MotoGP competition in 2002, followed by several other manufacturers, except Ducati, who has remained loyal to its Desmodromic system on their beloved Desmosedici GP. So, pneumatic valve springs also became the early foundation for the development of camless piston engines, or what is more commonly known as free valve. In reality, free valve is just the brand name of Koenigsegg's subsidiary. But don't worry. We've already covered free valve in a previous video. So if you're curious about how the free valve system works, feel free to check the link in the description below. Alright, that's a bit of the history behind the pneumatic valve spring. Now we're going to move on to the construction and how the system works. But before that, let's hear a quick message from our sponsor, JLC CNC. Today's segment is brought to you by JLC CNC, is a professional CNC machining service that offers extremely high-quality results at incredibly affordable prices, starting from just $1 with fast global shipping in as little as 3 days. What's even better, JLC CNC gives new users a $70 coupon that you can use right away. So whether you're an engineer, a student, or simply someone who loves creating advanced prototypes, JLC CNC is ready to help bring your ideas to life. And for those of you who love making custom CNC parts, this is definitely the place to go. You can check out all the details through the link in the description below. Okay, back to the topic. The components used in a pneumatic valve spring system are actually quite similar to a typical DOHC setup. Starting from the bottom, we have the valve itself, then the camshaft, followed by the finger follower, and a small cylindrical device called the metal bellows. The metal bellows component is made up of multiple subparts. On the outside of the cylinder head, there's a nitrogen reservoir equipped with a regulator to keep the pressure stable and ideal, distributing it through a line to the metal bellows. And finally, we have the timing gear and timing chain. So, as the name suggests, the only thing that truly differs from a conventional valve train is the pneumatic spring device itself, which replaces the traditional metal coil spring. Everything else remains essentially the same as a standard valve system. Naturally, to ensure durability, especially considering how complex this system is, the pneumatic valve spring requires very specialized materials. For example, first, the valve itself is made from Inconel, such as Inconel 751, 758, or 625, paired with a tungsten carbide valve seat. The valve finger follower uses a diamond-like carbon coating, or DLC. The metal bellows, or pneumatic air chamber, is made from high-strength aluminum alloys and steel alloys. And finally, the seals use PTFE Teflon, fluorocarbon elastomers, and high-temperature polyimide materials. There are definitely more materials involved, but if I list every single one, this video will get heavier than the crankshaft itself. Okay, now let's move on to how it works. Nitrogen is pushed into the metal bellows, and this metal bellows acts as the pneumatic spring that replaces the conventional steel spring, providing the force needed to push the valve back to its original closed position. This is why nitrogen is so important. Unlike oxygen, nitrogen maintains a much more stable density at high temperatures. Oxygen is sensitive to temperature changes, and its density can vary drastically as the temperature rises. Because the system requires a constant pressure of around 10 bar, nitrogen is used to keep that pressure stable. This is the key factor that makes this system work better than regular steel springs. With this setup, the engine can reach up to 20,000 RPM without experiencing valve float or backfire, around 7,000 RPM higher than what conventional springs can handle. This means that above 13,000 RPM, regular springs will begin to cause valve float and backfire. Next, the nitrogen reservoir not only used to store nitrogen and sends it to the bellows, it also used to keep the Pascal law and stabilize the pressure to keep it around 10 bars. If there's no nitrogen reservoir and regulator, the pressure inside metal bellows will increase significantly and will broke the bellows and causing leakage. The reservoir and regulator is added so the compression is not too high when the bellows is compressed. This, of course, will increase the durability of the system, so we can be sure that the reservoir and regulator is a must. Looking at its pros, nitrogen is undoubtedly more stable than steel springs and allow the engine to go to higher RPMs. This is because nitrogen is a lot lighter than steel and can respond to the cam profiles better than steel springs. But if we look closer, this system also have a lot of cons. They have way more components and is harder and longer to manufacture, increasing the production costs. But it's to be expected because this is an integrated system, unlike a single spring, and the maintenance cost also higher to prevent it from leaking, and also there's nitrogen. Its maintenance cost is high also because you have to regularly replace the parts and refill the nitrogen. That's why many engineers is skeptical that this system will be mass-produced, especially for the low-class vehicles. But if you're into competitive championship and good at making custom fabrication, this is a good project for those of you who are experts. That's all the information we can share with you about the pneumatic valve system, the main rival of the desmodromic valve, and also the early foundation of the free valve concept. Don't forget to leave your comments, and I'll see you in the next video.